What's up, everybody? My name is Sully Lupke, and this is another episode of Family Matters on the Stacking W's podcast network. I know that's new. You're going to see a lot more coming. I have the pleasure of being here with Christa Smith.
Hi.
She is absolutely an amazing person. Like, when I say that, I mean it, because when she came to work at HQ, I didn't know what we were getting. And then I was pleasantly surprised with the most beautiful soul on earth. So I'm going to let her introduce herself.
All right, so I'm Christa. So first and foremost, I like to introduce myself as a mom first, because I feel like it's really important. Like, I'm a regular person and I have responsibilities outside of what we do, but I'm also an advisor within the Phorm App. I came here about a year ago after going through, we'll call it the first Phorm process in the program myself. I'm going through my own journey. I moved out here, started in the warehouse, and I'm now an advisor within the Phorm App, and I get to help people every day reach their own goals.
And the beautiful thing about this show is I get to highlight amazing people from the Phorm community. The first two just happen to work here at HQ, but eventually we're working out to build relationships and to highlight everybody that has gone through the process and has made that decision to be a better version of themselves.
Right.
And her transformation is one of the greatest transformations I've ever seen. Can you kind of tell me, when did that switch flip for you?
So honestly, there's a lot of different layers to it. So a lot of people see like the physical transformation, but it really started before that. And it was kind of more like I sought out to create a better life. So I'd gotten to a place where I was very, very unhappy, and actually turned to faith first, just asking for different. And that ended up turning into a physical thing. And that's kind of like where I felt like I was led first to work on myself and start changing things, is through like losing weight and becoming better.
I like it. So faith first is kind of where you turn. And then how did that end up getting to that physical transformation? I know there's a lot of steps throughout that, and a lot of deep work. And I think realistically, that's the first part, right? Reflection?
Yeah.
Is that where it started?
Yeah. So just to give a little basis, and some of this might be triggering for some people. So it started with, I had gotten to a point where like I literally like every single day I was absolutely miserable with the life I was living. And it started back, so just to give a back history. So I joined the military when I was 17. I graduated high school early. That I went into the Marine Corps. That did not pan out the way that I wanted to. Mm-hmm. I had planned to retire from the military and that be my lifelong career. Ended up, and I'm going to use a word that's scary for a lot of people, I ended up within a month of being at my first duty station being raped. And that just threw my life on a completely different trajectory than I had planned, and ended up losing my career over it. I was medically retired. And at that time, I was a mom of two, and that became my identity for the next 10 years or so. But I never took the time to truly heal myself. And fast forward through, PTSD and dealing with depression and anxiety, trying to raise these two little boys, I got to a point where like I was at what was supposed to be a really happy point in my life. I had a new marriage to a wonderful man who adopted my two older children, a beautiful new little baby, but I was miserable every single day. And the reason I was miserable is because I felt like I was a speck in the universe. Like I wasn't making an impact in anyone's life whatsoever.
Wow.
And then at the same time, compound that with like, I didn't recognize what I saw in the mirror at all. Like I truly like felt so lost. And, I, as a mom and having people in your life that care about you, everybody's like, you're doing wonderful and you're such a good mom. But one of the loneliest places to be is when everyone's telling you you're good, but you don't feel that way. And so it got to a point where there was a day, and I remember it specifically, where I was like literally on my knees in the kitchen, and I was like, God, like, please, like, do something different. I want to be better. I want to feel better. I don't want to feel like this every day. That or get rid of me. So those were my two options. And so it really had nothing to do with weight loss per se. But, you know, the next day, like I literally was like looking through Facebook and I saw somebody doing 75 hard. And I was like, the egotistical side of me was like, this person, there's no way that if they can do this, that I can't do this. And so that's where it started. And then I ended up finding the app, and I didn't know all the things that came with it, or, you know, you got an advisor and somebody to help you. And I just threw myself into that side of it, and it changed so much and helped me.
Holy.
There was a lot there, I know. I said there was a lot of layers.
There's a lot of layers, but honestly, I have to thank you for being so open. Because we've talked, but I haven't gotten the full backstory, right? And like you said, like sometimes the word rape is triggering.
Yeah.
And I can't even imagine, like, at all. It's just being able to overcome that. So it sounds like you overcome a lot. like I hope you realize that in your 30 years of life.
It has been a wild ride.
It has. And wow, so we've covered military 17, going through trauma. We've gone through the parenthood. Oh my God, then we didn't even get started on parenthood because you are an absolutely phenomenal mother.
Thank you.
And Zach is an amazing man, and you guys just are goals for me. But we didn't even get into any of that. But then finding how important is kind of that triggering moment, but that having a ego of like, I can do that. Of like, because it sounds like you didn't like yourself for so long. Then all of a sudden you're just like, no, I can. Did something happen? Like other than seeing that person do 75?
I think we all have, like, even like when we are in those, like the pit and like just, it's hard for us to see any part of us that is good or capable. There's a little ember of fire in there where you're like, no, I can. And even though like maybe I didn't see it as like, I'm so good, I can accomplish this. Yeah. It was like I can do that. And it comes, and it may be ego, it may be just like a push from the universe, or like just like something in your brain that's like, this is what you need to do. We don't see it, but I think everybody has that little bitty ember of fire inside them that like, all right, let's go.
And then that one moment, like all of a sudden it's just like, boom.
Yeah.
So you don't go from a little bit bigger to a little bit more in shape overnight.
No.
And your journey took over a year.
Yeah, so.
And still going.
Still going.
Yes.
So it is still, it's a never ending process. Like there's different seasons of it. But like the big transformation happened within a year.
Yeah, and I met you towards the end of that transformation.
Right at 1 year.
And like, I didn't even recognize you. When you showed me everything that you did, what would you say is the most important kind of, let's call it 3 to 5 most important things that you did on a daily basis to like get to that point?
I would say the most important thing is to take one day at a time. So a lot of people have like this overview of like, they know what they want, but they get so focused on that they don't focus on what they need to do right now to get there.
And forget the process.
It is 100% all about the process. And there's actually so much more joy in the process than there is with accomplishing it too, whatever the goal is.
People don't believe that.
It's so true.
I know. It truly is the journey.
It is. Yeah. Like I can think now, like I see the pictures of myself, and I get to see pictures of other people every single day. And it's just like, it's fun when you're in it, like doing it, because you have so many tiny small wins. Like there's a big win, but there's millions of small wins that happen in between, you know, the beginning and the end per se. So focus on the day in front of you. The more wins that you can create, or, you know, execute on the hard task each day, the more fun it's going to be and the better it's going to be, and the better you're going to be for it.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
So focus on the small wins every single day.
Yes.
What did that look like for you?
Oh man.
I know, we're going back.
Yeah. As a As someone who started out very, very out of shape, very, very just, we'll say at the bottom of the totem pole, like just finding ways to make small changes. So for me, that was, as a mom, like I had to get rid of the excuse of my kids are keeping me too busy. And at this point, I was a stay-at-home mom homeschooling with 3 children.
So you were busy.
I was busy. Like I had a lot of responsibilities.
Yeah.
But I had to find ways to prioritize myself. So as a parent, that means getting up before everybody else and getting a workout in. And that means taking the time to plan out healthy meals for the day ahead of time. So I had to get rid of my excuses.
Okay, step 1, get rid of excuses.
Get rid of your excuses. Be willing to put in the effort to overcome them, because we all have excuses.
And some of them are valid.
And they are
But they're
valid.
still excuses.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're still excuses.
Exactly. We can say that they're reasons, they're this, that, they're other, but they're excuses, and there's always something that we could do.
There's always a way.
Yep. And for you, it was getting up a little earlier, getting everything
Staying
organized.
up late and just being willing to make it work, no matter what that looked like, because it was important for me to be happier than I was.
And you found the first Phorm community. How important was that to you?
Oh my gosh, it was just such a game changer for me. So I've struggled with weight my whole life. I've tried every single thing under the sun. But I never had a support system for it. You know, it's different when you have your mom or your spouse saying you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
But truly having an outside influence saying you're killing it, keep going, I see you, you're working.
Yep.
Because those same people that we have that love us no matter what, when we fail, they're also going to be it's okay.
Yeah.
So just having that accountability with an outside source and group of people was everything for me.
My friend has this concept of grit and grace. And the community kind of has a feel of when hey, we need to give you some grit. We need you to push through, but also when to give you some grace, because we are there to pick you up. And I think that's what a lot of people miss, especially in this big freaking noisy world that we're in today, is actually having a true community. And from what it sounds like having kids, having a new husband, being busy, that community cheering you on, kind of pulling you forward, which is so important to it. And honestly, I think it's one of the greatest things First Phorm has to offer.
Right.
The community that this company has created is top notch. We were both in the military. Military, you can find a good community, but at times there's some shitbags too. Let's be honest.
There's a toxic element there.
A little bit.
Can be.
Can be. See, that's why I went Air Force, you went Marines. Anyways, that's a topic for another day. All right, cool. So we have getting rid of the excuses. We have finding a community. What else would you say played a role in your success?
I think changing the conversation in my brain.
Tell me more.
Because
this one's tough.
Yes, it's very tough. And I think it's something we all, I know me now, is still really, really hard.
Yep.
Is first and foremost, our bodies, our minds are always going to seek safety and survival over change any day, whether that change be positive or negative.
Homeostasis, as one would say. It wants to be even.
Undisturbed.
Yes.
And this goes back to the being willing to make it work, is being able to stop myself when the patterns of, well, we can just wait, or, oh, we'll do it tomorrow, or, well, this is really hard, or it's too cold. Whatever the excuse was, is being able to recognize that behavior and that thought process and change it to, well, what if you just did it? Are you going to survive? Are you going to be okay?
How did you get to that point?
I think it was just really when in the beginning of anything, you're really, really motivated. So you're okay, I'll do it.
We're going to take on the world.
We're going to do it. So, but you have to be willing to recognize when you start doing those things that you're willing to do, recognizing those little wins, recognizing that little bit of progress, that reward in it, and attaching yourself to that.
Yeah.
So it feels, recognizing that all right, I feel good when I go for the run that I don't want to do afterwards. versus I spend so much energy and guilt and shame and negativity on the days where I'm like, well, I'm not going to do it. And then I think about it for 4 hours how I should have done it.
Instead of just putting on the shoes
Instead
and
of
going
just
for the
doing it
half
and then
hour
getting
run.
the reward for it.
Yes. Yeah.
So, does that make sense?
It 100% makes sense because I've been there.
Yeah.
Some may know, some may not know, but that's how I fell into bulimia. It was just like that total guilt of like, oh, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to like drown my feelings in food and then I'm going to purge it out. And I know you've struggled with some stuff like that as well. And it just seems that being able to take control of this is the most important part. Like besides the community, besides the no excuses. But I think up here is what people don't realize.
Oh yeah, it's all in your head.
Is that why you kind of started on the spiritual side of things? Is to own this?
I think so. I think, well, I was raised in church. I was raised with faith. And I've been through several different avenues of faith.
Welcome to growing up.
Yeah. And I think like that has always been a big fallback for me.
Yeah.
But I think it was like, I finally decided like, I truly can't do this. And I don't want to live this way. And I just want to be happy. So I came to a point where like I was vulnerable enough to be like, all right, what makes me happy? What doesn't make me happy? What helps me grow? What doesn't help me grow? And just leaning into like whatever that felt like.
Yeah.
Gave me that feeling of like pride and confidence and happiness in myself. And like I said, it didn't start as like I want to lose weight or look this way or anything like that. It's just like I want to be happy, and what I'm doing right now is not making me happy, and what I'm doing isn't going to make my kids happy either. So I can't live like this. So being willing to like observe everything, whether it be habits and whatever, but like truly inside, like think about the way I was thinking, because what I was doing, what I was thinking wasn't working.
I think this is an extremely important point that a lot of people miss. Happiness is not a place. Happiness is not a thing. Happiness is not, even a person.
Right.
You created your own happiness.
Right.
Because you were sick of feeling unhappy.
Right.
And so many people are chasing something else that is going to make them happy, and then when they get it, they're not. So I think that internal battle of like, I'm going to create my own happiness is something within transformations that people miss.
Right.
Have you found that being a coach? Oh, tell me, talk more.
So I always like to ask all of my clients, my team, what is your why? And a lot of people, like they go into it thinking like, I want to look like this, or I want to be this size, or I want to be this weight. And while that is an outcome, that's not, almost never is that the biggest thing that's going to like spark change in a person.
Yep.
So there's usually a deeper layer behind that. So like you can want to look away, but why do you want to look that way? How do you want to feel? What is motivating? Like, how did you feel last time you looked that way? Because it's really more that like they're seeking that than they are like a look or, a number on a scale or something like that. Because a number on a scale is great, but that doesn't change your life. That doesn't make you feel good, except for in maybe a second when you see it.
And it also doesn't mean you're healthy.
Right.
You can push that number lower and lower and lower, and that doesn't mean that you're healthy.
Exactly.
But if you're searching to be happy and you feel strong, you feel like you can pick up your kids, you feel like you can go run with them.
Right.
Hell, run a marathon on a whim like you've been known to do.
You did it the same day.
Let's not talk about the blisters that I got on that day. But you created that.
Right.
And that brought you joy, that brought you happiness within yourself. And I think just so many people miss that you can create your own happiness.
Exactly.
By taking away the excuses, flipping the conversation in your head, doing the little things on a daily basis that stack and stack and stack. And I think we're giving out a recipe for success, and it's 5 o'clock in the morning. Like people don't even understand that.
Right.
Like I don't want to call it easy because it's not.
It's not easy,
it's
but it's simple.
Yeah, doing the simple things. So let's go through your day now. So fast forward, right? We're about year and a half away from the transformation, maybe 2.
2 years.
2 years now. Damn.
I know.
And consistency is key, as you can see. Like, here's the thing. How has your day evolved now?
Well, I will be honest, I can't compare life now to life 2 years ago or even a year ago because it's so different season
You're
of
no
life.
longer a stay-at-home mom.
Right.
You have another child.
Yes.
So keep going.
So now it has actually become harder. And I'll speak on that a little bit. So when you're in the middle of a transformation, you're getting constant gratitude if you're doing what it is you need to do to have those rewards.
Yep.
When you get to a point where it's like maintaining the lifestyle, the rewards, the reward of the life is there, but like the everyday
changes in the mirror,
changes
changes
on
clothing
the
fitting better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like those like confirmations of like, oh, you're doing it.
Yep.
They dwindle a little bit, or they become smaller because there's not big change to be made.
And there shouldn't be.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it comes down to like the discipline, and that's something like I've really had to reframe my brain is like, just because I'm not saying, I didn't lose 22 pounds this month because I don't need to. I'm not in that season of life. Doesn't mean that I'm not doing good things. So now, my day usually consists of I get up at the crack of dawn.
Mm-hmm.
I have some me time because that's super important. So I'll have my little protein coffee.
Prioritizing yourself in the morning.
Yes, that is something I have kept this whole time, is I have to have that time for me. And then I come to work. I get to help people every day, and then I get to be a mom when I get home. And somewhere in between there, I fit in, like the physical side of things. I'll work out, and that's it. And we just continue moving forward. But it's super cool to see how like I came from a place of like calling my husband every day crying, feeling like I meant zero in the world, to like now every day I get to be a part of people's lives and help them not feel like that.
That is absolutely amazing. And let's dive into that just a little bit. You went from seeing it on the customer side of First Phorm to starting in the warehouse, as Andy always says, people get move through the bottom up, and now you're in an advisor position and you are helping somebody else. Can you talk on that a little bit about not only how gratifying that is, but just the steps that you help and tell everybody to do every single day?
Right. So I will say that first and foremost, like, that's not everybody's journey. Everybody thinks that like their transfer, or not everybody, like some people think that like they have to go through the same life changes and journey that I went through, and that's not everybody's story.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's okay for it to purely be about you. For me personally, and this sounds crazy, but it's a true story, like 2 months into my transformation, like I just had this like on a whim, like, oh my gosh, I want to do this. I want to help people. This is exactly what I want to do. And so back to faith, like I prayed, I was like, all right, give me 1 year. And if 1 year I don't make it there, then like that dream will be gone. This will just be, like something I went through in my life, changed, and I'm better now. And so I actually ended up applying to the company. And then on 364 days was my first day of work from that 1 year quit mark. And started in the warehouse. But anyway, now a lot of work in between there, ended up moving to the app team. And it is so cool to be on, and so frustrating sometimes too, to be on the other side of things and be able to help people. And I say it's frustrating because like when you've lived it and you've been in the process, it's so easy to see from like a bird's eye view, be like, oh, I know where you're at. And if you would just do this.
Just this one thing.
Just this. Then you would be so much further down the path, or it would help you in so many ways. So it's super, super awesome though. And I was thinking on the way here, like, what is the best part about being a coach and what is the hardest part? So the best part is like all the little things. And I try to I kind of think of it as like a parent, and you have this baby that's been trying to walk. and they get up and then they fall down. They get up and then they fall down. And then one day something happens and they just start walking. So like when I have someone on my team who's like struggling, and then boom, they get it. And like the pride that they see in themselves and the pride that you have, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is huge. And it could be the smallest thing. Like that is the best feeling in the world, is like being able to see someone else win or conquer something. And then the hardest part is like seeing people make it harder on themselves than it could be than doing the hard thing. And I can explain that a little bit.
Do it.
So again, I'm gonna go back to parenting, because that's like just my wheelhouse of how I like analogy with life. So you tell your kids to clean their room, and I have 2 kids that share a room, and you know they will spend so much time and energy fighting about how they're going to do it and who's going to do it versus just getting it done. So we make it so much harder on ourselves and spend so much energy on avoiding and like figuring out the process rather than just diving in and doing it and getting it done. So that's very frustrating because people make it so much harder trying to avoid the hard thing than actually just taking the walk or tracking their food.
If somebody is in that right now, watching this video, what do you have to say to them?
Get up and go.
No thinking.
Just get up and do it.
Lace them up and go.
Yes.
Doesn't matter if it's cold, hot, raining, nothing.
Just do it.
Because you'll feel better.
Yes, and it'll be way easier than the 6 hours you're going to spend thinking about it.
Because it will not leave your mind.
No.
Doesn't matter.
You know what you need to do.
It doesn't matter how much Netflix you watch. It doesn't matter how many things you have going on. It doesn't matter what food you eat. There's always going to be that thing inside you.
Yes.
Get up and go.
It's way easier just to get it done and then move on than it is to contemplate, waste time, and then spend the next 3 days regretting.
I love it. I love it. Okay, rapid fire. What's your favorite part about the app?
My favorite part about the app is the workouts.
The workouts.
Personally, the workouts.
Ah, okay. I wasn't expecting that one.
Yeah.
Is that because you are a certified personal trainer, but as you were coming through, you weren't? Is that because you didn't know like kind of what direction to go to, like throughout your transformation, and you needed a little bit of guidance?
Yes. So for me, it was, here's what you need to do it, check the box, and you're done.
And that's important sometimes.
Yes. There's so many voices out there, and you know, Instagram workouts, and this is the best thing and that is the best thing, and like truth be told, there's no best workout. It's whatever you're willing to do and complete
on a consistent basis,
complete with intention.
Yes.
But like so many people get caught up in like trying to find the right thing, and like just having something there, a program to follow for an extended period of time, took so much stress and guesswork out of it.
Love it. How do people find you?
So you can find me on Instagram. My Instagram's at Christa R. Smith. It's very creative. It's my name. You can find me that way, or on Facebook at Christa Smith is my tag.
Love it. Tell me something good.
Something good. In reference to what?
Doesn't matter. Anything that you think of.
Oh, you're putting me on the
Got
spot
her.
here. I know. There's so much good. Oh man. Well, something good is when I was walking in this morning, we did the world's largest toy drive yesterday, and it made me so happy to see that entire front lobby just filled with toys that kids would not have had they not been donated or we had not gotten, and just like it fills my cup to know that somebody's going to open something and be like,
I can't wait to see those toys get distributed, and
I know.
the smiles that are going to come back towards us because we have the blessing of social media and the cameras and stuff, and we're going to be able to see it.
I know.
Warms my soul.
Yeah.
Awesome. If you had to do one workout, what would it be?
Running.
You love running.
I do. I hate it and I love it.
Hate it and you love it. It's sometimes important to do the things that you hate because you'll love them. That's like getting started.
Yeah. My thing with running is first of all, I'm not the world's best runner. However, it is the only time in the world that I feel like I can truly turn my brain off and just move and be. Like there's nothing else. Because even I love lifting weights. I love feeling strong. I love being strong. But I can get really analytical in that.
Yep.
And, you know, like there's other people around and things like that. But when I'm running, it's just silence.
It's just, we're going
It's
that
my
way.
only time in the world where there's just silence. And it's just, all I have to do is just keep moving. That's it.
And folks, trust me, I saw her run 26.2 miles. And then she was the only smart one as we go around the building halfway through to turn around. So,
because
to
there's a slight incline and you start to feel it after a while. But if you turn, then the incline's on the other side of your body.
Yes. All right. I want to thank you again.
Thank you.
For doing this and being my second person on Family Matters, because
this is really cool. I'm excited to see other people come on. And
number
hear their
2 in
stories.
the program, number 1 in my heart, and I truly mean
Thank
that.
you.
Thank you so much.